there seems to be this ploy that he even plays in the film, and this is something that he says after he's going to prove all these things wrong. First of all, he does quote Henry Ford that basically say the Jews, they control all of the world's sources. But then he says, quote, the mass media is the biggest tool of indoctrination, brainwashing, and propaganda that the world has ever seen. For centuries, it has been helping Satan deceive the world, including the Christian church. Don't believe me? And so basically now I have to go to Dalton here as my source material because he's the one who's going to tell me the truth. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of propaganda in the media. Obviously, we've dealt with a lot of that more and more recently. But nonetheless, you get to this place that you have to become such a skeptic that the only truth that can be found is going to be through guys like Dalton here. And it's a very dangerous game. And he's actually come out, Vocab, and actually this is something a little different. He's actually had a press release since, the guy's quoting Hitler, he's doing all this stuff, and here he is saying a press release. Is that right?
Yeah, November 6th, 2022. I don't know why more of the media hasn't talked about this. Maybe they have, and I'm just not aware of it. But I've only seen this because of my involvement and, awareness of the, sort of the Hebrew Israelite internet, right? November 6th, 2022, press statement. Hebrews to Negroes, Ron Dalton Jr., CEO, Hebrews to Negroes Films. I vehemently reject and condemn any forms of prejudice or hatred towards any person, regardless of their race, religion, ethnicity, lineage, ancestry, or sex, as well as violence, racism, bullying, discrimination, black Jew-phobia. That's one word. I don't think anyone was asking about that, but he literally puts in there black Jew-phobia and the misuse of the term anti-Semitism. The misuse of the term anti-Semitism. So Holocaust revisionism, don't call that anti-Semitism. Well, I'm going to explain that in a second, but let's read this. The African diaspora that was sent to the Americas and the Caribbean via the transatlantic slave trade are ethnically the Israelites of the Bible from the lineage of Shem. I just want to stop. This is a press release statement. Seems like he just took an excerpt from his book or something, right? Continuing. Therefore, myself or anyone today who is a descendant of Shem's 5 sons cannot be anti-Semitic. As a Shemite, I am against any form of anti-Semitism and anti-Shemitism in America or worldwide. Let me just stop there. This is insane that this is taken seriously, and you have Hebrewites caping for this, going to bat for it, right? First of all, he's assuming that he's Semitic. Let's just say, Ron Dalton, you're Semitic. That doesn't mean you can't be anti-Semitic. Haven't you ever heard the term self-hating or self-loathing? I mean, that's even a trope. It's not logical to say, I am this, therefore I can't be. You could still. I mean, that's kind of like the definition of, sell out, something like that. I mean, so it's not even illogical to say I can't be because I'm this, okay? So that's first of all. But notice, of course, he's assuming that. And if you listen to him and read his book, furthermore what he's saying that I don't see clearly stated in here, and it's this. When you disparage the Jewish people, Ron Dalton would contend you're not being anti-Semitic no matter what you say. Do you know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because according to Ron Dalton Jr. and the millions who agree with him, they're not Semitic. They're not. So you're not anti-Semitic. You say something against them because they're not Semitic. That's the whole thing. They're imposters, right? So in his book, he says you would be more likely, it'd be more accurate to say you're anti-Japhetic. Anti-Japhetic, because he thinks that Jews are basically Europeans which descend from Japheth. These guys act like they know this stuff. Remember, you're talking about going back all the way to Noah's sons, okay? Remember that. So look, that's what he thinks. Now, I want to share something briefly. One West Hebrew Israelites. So this is more like the guys on the corner with the garbs and the signs. They hold Jews are actually Edomites. That means descendants of Esau. If you're descendant of Esau, that means you would actually descend from Israel, because Jacob's twin brother is Esau, right? So they would both be Semitic under that schema. So One West Hebrew Israelites, Ron Dalton's not a One West Hebrew Israelite. They actually hold that actually white folks are actually Semitic as well. Because they're Edomites. You see what I'm saying? I know it's a little confusing, but Dalton doesn't hold that version of Hebraism. He holds that they be Japhetic. Let me continue on, Racist scapegoating, as well as unfair tactics that hold communities of color responsible for societal problems must stop. So this is a press release about this. He's not denying anti-Semitism. He's not denying his Holocaust minimization. He's not doing any of that. This is what he's writing in his press release. He just uses it as a chance to kind of jump on the I guess, a bully pulpit that he thinks he had temporarily or something like that, right? It is our collective duty to create a society where everyone has the same opportunities, irrespective of their race, religion, ethnicity, or sex. Freedom of speech and freedom of expression should not be seen as an infringement, but unfortunately, based on what we have seen lately in the news, this is a sad reality in America. We definitely have more work to do to fix this. The Israelites are dedicated to collaborating with all groups. Now, let's just stop there. He's saying that. Ron Dalton Jr. is saying that. But if you talk to his fellow religionists on the street, like IUIC, Sakari, GMS, they're not trying to collaborate with all groups. They're not doing that. But look what he says here. So he's saying Israelites as this ethnic group, but it's not true. They don't want to collaborate with anybody on nothing, right? The Israelites are dedicated to collaborating with all groups. Now, to do what? Watch what he's saying the Israelites are dedicated to doing here. This is actually hilarious. The Israelites are dedicated to collaborating with all groups to make it possible for people from all backgrounds to watch the documentary. Hebrews. He literally just said, our people are dedicated to make it possible for everyone to be able to watch my movie. Woo! What? It's just insane. What is that, a statement for Heal the World? What is this? These folks are serious, though, and this dude's making some serious money. Just as one might watch the 1977 Roots TV miniseries, which is shown annually every February during Black History Month. Imagine this being in a press release, but this is how this guy writes. Very stream of consciousness, no consciousness, no discipline, no kind of precision of where he's going. Clearly no game plan, but this is a press release. The mass media, capitalized, relies on promoting exclusivity, stroking fear, and assigning blame to those that go against their narratives. I mean, it's funny. Does he consider Al Jazeera part of the Jewish-controlled media? If you guys know what Al Jazeera is, I don't think so, but okay, continuing on. Everyone should be free to approach their past without worrying that they will be singled out, vilified, and bullied. Yet that's exactly what he does with Jews. I implore everyone to take the time to read my books. This is a PR joint. This is like ad copy right here. I implore everyone to get along, to to read my books. Watch my movie documentaries. What an egomaniac. This is really what this press release says. I wish I could be making this up, but this is what this says. I implore everyone to take the time to read my books, watch my movie documentaries, and then fact check everything. Okay, we'll do that last part. Fail, 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 Mr. Dalton, so that we all can have a full understanding of the true history of Black people in the diaspora, which is now being told from a different perspective. Using the study of, now, this is what we call hurling the elephant. It's not really an argument. It's just you're saying all that you've got all the stuff. So it's like when you throw an elephant at someone, you know, if you could do that, this is what he's about to do. He's about to hurl the elephant, right? Or maybe hurl the elephant dung, rather. But watch this. Using the study of history, theology, geography, cartography, biology, craniology, odontology, genetics, linguistics, archaeology, anthropology, and more, I provide the evidence to substantiate that the information in my visual literary work is indeed factual. Craniology. This is insane. I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun. Whenever I read this, you know, you got to laugh to keep from crying. Hopefully, after all this is done, we can begin to forge a nation founded on our complete history. As if he's qualified to do this. You know, his training, and no diss against it, is to be a physician's assistant. I don't know how that qualifies him to, like, I'm not saying you can't look at it, but it's like he's acting like this is the true version of these fields of study. What? I pray that we are able to continue to bring people together of all backgrounds. How do you bring people together when you call their people group the thing, you know? To embrace historical events and facts that are detrimental to the progression of our society as a whole. Signed, Ron Dalton Jr. Are we serious right now? I hope you guys had as much fun, but look, understand the nature of the problem we're dealing with. NBA stars retweeting this. The person who made this movie, saying like it's got a lot of truth and we need to wake up about. This movie shot up on all the charts now. So we can laugh or whatever, but I take it serious, even though, you know, I'll have fun with it. I take this stuff serious. That's why I spend so much time doing this. Understand this is the kind of person, and this is a leader, a thought leader within this religion. This is what we're dealing with, folks. This is true spiritual warfare, the level of blindness here, but this is what's going on. And I don't know why the media hasn't looked at this press statement. You know, the creator of this, I haven't seen him do interviews. You would think, I heard CNN called him, but it's like somebody should look at this press statement he put out, right? No denial of anti-Semitism, no talking about, you know, the Holocaust stuff was, so that's important. And I don't know if anyone's talked about it until today on this show.
No, I'm so glad you brought that out, because I think people need to see some of the lunacy, because that's really what that is. That's somebody who is so self-absorbed. I mean, it's just incredible. Let's use this as a time to sell my books, sell my videos. Our entire goal is to make sure you watch this video that has no documentation